Alright guys, welcome. Let's see if Mourinho puts an end to this nonsense and if this complaint from Jude Bellingham to Carlos Espi for doing what he had to do in that Real Madrid attacking play is just about finding something negative from yesterday. The post-match video that I've posted is very positive regarding what we saw and what we can expect to see this year. Praising the work of Coach Mourinho, of some players, most of them, and still criticizing the form of others. Vinicius didn't play well and the match analysis is there, but I think this aspect is very important because, well, the locker room has been through what it's been through. It comes from some bad habits and some very negative and toxic things that need to end. Even from the smiling face of the locker room, the good kid in the locker room, hey, I like him. Bellingham, I think he's amazing on the field and off it, but there are things that are not tolerable. Seeing this really bothers me. Someone told me it seemed like I never played football. I never did that, and it really bothered me when others did it to me. And yes, we all go all out, we all want to win, we're all upset after that play. Well, now we'll see it, because there might even be people who don't know what I'm referring to. And then we're also going to talk about this, obviously, because there will be people who are also bothered that we're talking about this. Hey, Barça just signed. Barça, our big rival, yes. The one who paid the head of the referees. All that. Okay. But they just signed the best midfielder from the last World Cup, from the champion team and the Golden Ball winner of that World Cup, and maybe the Ballon d'Or this year. And also a player that Real Madrid wanted, but Madrid didn't want to pay the 80 million that Manchester City was asking for. Because here they said that City was going to set one price for Madrid and another for Barça. And in the end, they set the same price for both. And both offered or were offering the player the same salary. Barça is going to spend 200 million euros on this over 4 years. Barça can do it, but they do whatever they want. And if they don't allow it, Madrid could do it, and for a position they needed, a player for a position they needed. Barça doesn't even need it. They're just doing it to keep it from Madrid. We'll see how it turns out. And now we'll analyze it right away. Let's analyze this a bit. But first, let's go to our coach, Jose Mourinho, who commented, again, we'll talk about all this in a moment, but just to continue a bit with what happened yesterday, because we heard from Cucurella, but we haven't heard from Mourinho. To analyze what he says, there's something I really like about Mourinho this preseason, and I hope he continues. Oh, I just lost a light. Sorry, guys. Well, it doesn't matter if you can see me or not. The point is, you can still hear me. So, as I was saying, I hope he keeps doing it throughout the whole season, and that's talking at length after the matches, in the interviews. Let's see those press conferences, which he hasn't given any of yet. But I mean the quick post-game interviews. And to say things clearly, like he's doing, this was at Real Madrid. Television after the match. Wait, I think you can hear it. Let's see.
Positive as a team, positive individually. Obviously, there are people who arrived later and still don't have the same intensity as the guys who started on the first day. The ones who started on the first day have 30 training sessions and 6 matches, while those who just arrived have 3 or 4 training sessions. There's obviously a difference in pace, intensity, and endurance, but little by little the ideas are coming together. Players obviously of a higher quality, of incredible quality, and working very well with the team, both with the ball and without the ball. I think it was a very good test, a final training session. A very good training session before we start thinking about the real thing, because the real thing is true competition, is fighting for points. That's what we like. And now, yes, now it's right around the corner.
What do returning players like Mbappé, Bellingham and Courtois and debuting signings like Cucurella, Konategui and Mandé add to the team?
Yo pienso que en este momento me viene difícil hablar individualmente porque estamos creciendo como Obviously, we have players here. We only have good players, very good players, and very, 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 very good players. And by combining the work of these players, we have to make a very, very good team.
That's interesting. He's setting levels there. By the way, he's currently making excuses for some who haven't yet reached the level expected of them. I find Mourinho's double message, one in the previous answer and another here, very interesting. Hey, some have arrived later. It's still going to take them some time to reach the level because others have been training for longer. And here there are good players, very good players, and very good players. So he's waiting for those in this last category to start performing. I've read and heard a lot of criticism and very harsh criticism of Vinicius. I'm not saying it yet, but that's because of the moment we're in.
He reminds me of a Vinicius we've already seen in later stages of past seasons, but since we're in pre-season, I'm not going to say it, I insist, because I think he can give much more.
Of course, but with this coach, and that's the positive thing I noticed this year. Someone was telling me earlier on social media, man, the problem with the previous coaches wasn't really the coaches. Well, partly yes, but mostly it was the players who didn't listen to them. Of course, I always said it. I was always on the side of Xabi Alonso, of Arbeloa, and before that of Ancelotti. With him, with that nuance, with Ancelotti, I think with the Italian coach, his message had run out, or maybe that message just wasn't working anymore, right? It resonated with a squad that he had already won everything with. And he was in his third or fourth year, already in a second stint, logically. But what excuse was there with Xabi Alonso and then with Arbeloa? What excuse was there for not listening to the coach, to your boss? You didn't believe in him, so that's why I always supported Mourinho. You don't want a second helping, right? What for? So you can meet another guy who'll ask for the same thing as before? Plus, this one never forgives. And this one is a serious guy, really serious, with character and a lot of experience. And this one, you won't get past him like you did with the previous ones. That's why Mourinho is really good in these reflections. But he's sending a message. This guy never does anything without a reason. He's never done it. All these messages, even if they seem friendly, like how are you, they're messages for the squad to get their act together.
I think we're trying to do it, and I think we're taking the right steps to make it happen. I'm also very happy with those who joined recently, and it's not easy to jump right into the high intensity we're working at. It's not easy for them to have double sessions, morning and afternoon.
For now, he's making excuses for them.
Because they have training in the morning with the group, and in the afternoon with the small group that just arrived. It's incredibly hot, and the 5 o'clock training is really tough, and they arrived with una mentalità top. Después la cuestión.
Watch out, Mourinho's here too. He's very skilled at winning people over, or trying to. He says to them, hey, I'm standing up for you. I mean, I'm not standing up for them. I don't need to stand up for them, right? In another preseason match. But from the start, I trust you. Don't let me down. He's done this his whole life. His whole coaching life.
45 minutes for Kylian, for Konate, 30 for Jalt, for Cucurella, for Diomande. These are things that we analyze, I would say, scientifically with the data we have and with the most important thing, which is the player's own experience, the knowledge the player himself has of his body. And I think we're heading into this important week, which is next week, in a very acceptable condition for this point in the season.
Then he wants them to respond, because it's true that Mourinho wins over the players. He wins them over on a personal level right from the start, and then, obviously, if someone lets him down, he doesn't forgive them.
The Madrid fans were saying they're excited about this start of the season. What do you say to the Madrid fans 1 week before we officially debut against Espanyol? What do you say? That they're excited, I mean, the Madrid fans, about the season ahead and about what we have in this campaign that's officially starting next Saturday. What do you say to them?
We're all excited, and the most important thing is that the players are excited too. If the fans are excited, if I am, if the president is, and if they're not, then we have a problem. I think they are showing that they are. They are. And you see, for example, small details, small but big details. People who were supposed to show up on a certain day after vacation come in earlier. The people who come on the last day have prepared themselves very well individually to arrive on the last day. We are playing as a team. There is empathy, there is teamwork. The team is starting to look like a team. Because if we're gonna talk about players individually, it's like I was telling you, they are either very good or very good.
Let it not be said later that Mourinho's starting point wasn't about unity, about very good intentions, about highlighting the role of each one of them, those who arrived earlier, later, or much later. And from this moment on, it's just that they shouldn't let him down, but they do. Well, I hope that Mourinho, and with this we'll move on and then analyze Rodri's situation, removes, let's say, completely stamps these kinds of attitudes out of the game. Look, here's a play by Spin where he could have taken a shot at goal, but instead he sees Syria to his left. The pass was, let's say, the one he had to make. And that's the one he makes. And that's the one he makes, and besides, look, he leaves him right in front of the goal. It's true the ball takes a bounce right before it gets to him, and I want to cut the Real Madrid Academy kid a little slack here because of that. He doesn't get his foot down. Yes, and the ball goes up because the kid miscalculates. He definitely has the quality to score that goal. Look, he's at the penalty spot. Look at Jude Bellingham, because Diomande could have also asked for the pass. Spin makes the pass he needs to make. He makes the right play. The Cote d'Ivoire player could have complained, but see what Bellingham does. Spin gets scolded, which is hard to understand, right? These kinds of situations are what Mourinho should get rid of, because they're bad habits from the past. And also because he's someone who just arrived. You might say, don't be so picky about this because you are focusing on the smallest things. No. The thing is, we've been through what we've been through these last 2 years. A team also starts to change because of the reactions of its players and what they do on the field. Because of the relationships in the locker room and what the players do on the pitch, right? Mourinho sees this and he doesn't like it. And I hope he saw it. And I hope that no matter how much of a star Bellingham is, he does it and that it sticks in his head. Okay? So that next time he doesn't pull this stunt. And look, you know me perfectly well. I have nothing against Bellingham. Quite the opposite, actually. Bellingham is the one doing this. If Vinicius, Mbappe, Hauser, Rudiger, or anyone else had done it, I'd say the same, because I'm a Real Madrid fan, not a fan of any specific player. I say the same about Diomande, but who the hell do you think you are? You just got here. So the way I see it, no player is above any other. And then on top of that, you also have to show respect to the one who just arrived. Give me a break. And on top of that, he's doing the right thing, which is exactly the right thing to do. Well, speaking of soccer players who just arrived, look, one just joined Barça. In the end, Barça had to make 3 offers to Manchester City for Rodri Hernandez. Manchester City lost the Super Cup over there in England against an Arsenal that outplayed them. It was a rout. At some point, I thought, they're not selling because they need Rodri. Hey, they were right. I mean, they said either 80 or nothing. They were wooden badge with either club. All the club loyalists started telling us no, that of course, Manchester City really doesn't like us because they are giving Barça a different price, right? No, Barça wasn't giving a different price. They got the same price as Real Madrid, but Madrid wouldn't go up to 80 million, only 70, while Barça was willing to pay 75 plus 5 in add-ons, totaling 80. Barça is going to spend 80. Now they are going to pay him 15 net, which is 30 gross over 4 years. And this adds up to a total of 200 million. 200 million for a guy who's 29, about to turn 30, who has had a serious knee injury. Consider everything, but he's among the world's top footballers and will likely win the Ballon d'Or this year. He's already won the Ballon d'Or. Winner of the World Cup Golden Ball and best midfielder of the best team in the World Cup and best player of the World Cup. And also a player that Barça didn't need, who in any case, because they don't need him, but it's true that he still gives an extra boost to a total midfield style of play, like that of the Ref Bayers. And man, I don't want to get into that now because I already know how some people are going to start, Rodri's widow and all that. You can call me whatever you want. I don't want to be negative about this, but here Barça has scored a massive goal. How are they going to register him? We don't know. How will they pay for this? Just kicking the can down the road, like Laporta always does. But they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Do they need a number 9 more? They needed more. Did they sign this just to mess with Real Madrid too? Yes. You might say he doesn't really combine well with Pedri. At the Euros, until Pedri's injury, and at the World Cup, De La Fuente has to remove Pedri for things to work. Hey, I hope they fight. I hope it never works out. I think Flick would realize it, just like De La Fuente realized it quickly, and they'll fix that. I think Rodri comes in to add, not to take away. Some people ask if he'll get injured in September or October. I find those comments absolutely regrettable. With him or with any other soccer player, saying that he's going to get injured is an unbelievable lack of class. But well, that's on them. But I hear this. I can't say if he's going to get injured or not. I hope not, since I don't wish harm on anyone, and ACL injuries are hard to recover from. I hope he plays badly, damn it. Whether he gets injured or not, I just hope he plays badly. But this guy doesn't usually mess up, not for nothing. He's the footballer who has been at the biggest competition in the world of football, which is the World Cup, right? And well, we keep looking there and we keep searching. It's going to be a big challenge for Mourinho. I think Madrid is going to win most of the matches because Madrid is going to be super competitive. But then we have teams there that for now, in recent years, have been kryptonite. One is Barça, but of course, because of the way they play, because they keep the ball away from us, because, okay, well, they've doubled down. A challenge for Mourinho, it was back in 2010, after conceding 5 at Camp Nou. How to change that and beat them in the Copa del Rey that same year. There wasn't enough time to catch them in La Liga, because here Barça was a steamroller. Madrid became that too, but there wasn't enough time, and the following year we won La Liga, competing against them even better than the previous year. Mourinho won that battle. I hope he wins it again this year, because these guys have doubled down. Without money, by cheating, however you want to put it, but they've done it. Wish you all the best. Give a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, share, hype up the video, please. It really helps. And I see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.